the Rocketeer figure from the Rocketeer and Betty 2-pack from Loose Collector and Executive Replicas. This is a figure I've been waiting for a long time. We've had a couple of highly articulated Rocketeer figures, and those came out kind of just as I got back into collecting, and I had passed on them, and I'd seen them in person and just kind of wasn't really enamored. This being solicited, I had to have it, and it delivers on every level. I will say this does get knocked down a couple pegs because it is part of that 2-pack. I was excited about that, especially because of the Betty figure. But unfortunately with that Betty Page figure, the arm broke, and then, all credit to Dave, aka Loose Collector. He got in touch. He was like, dude, I'll send you another one, and they did. And unfortunately that one did break as well. As did the other arm. Before I even shot this, I was kind of trying to pose it in position and just didn't work. It's frustrating. And again, there's a lot of heart in this company. I want to see them succeed, and they're definitely improving, and they're taking those improvements, and that's amazing. And this figure alone merits space on this list. Just absolutely amazing. And just really excited to see what they come up with for the future. This is very much toy dreams coming true. The Marvel Legends Wolverine 50th Anniversary Sabretooth and Wolverine 2-pack from Hasbro. This is literally the version of Sabretooth I've been waiting for a while since I got back into collecting. And, throw it in with just a really quality cowboy Wolverine, and I'm in. I kind of wish Hasbro went a little harder on the whole Wolverine 50th Anniversary. It feels like that kind of petered out about halfway through the year, which was kind of surprising. Obviously a lot of the marketing went into the Wolverine Deadpool movie, which makes sense. It's just kind of how that happens. But I do wish they kind of went more into various Wolverine iterations and kind of more of these 2-packs. Again, there was, I think, 3 of these 2-packs that came out around June, July, and that was it. But this was the standout for me. Even with the limited articulation on the Wolverine, just a fantastic pack overall. And again, what I consider a perfect Sabretooth until maybe Mafex does one, but I don't know. This one's still unbelievably solid. The Smart Series Carnotaurus Ranger 3.0 figure from Nanmu Studio. I have been drooling over Nanmu's stuff for a few years at this point, certainly their statue offerings. And then when I saw they did articulated figures, I was in. I was like, okay. And the price point was right. It's actually cheaper than their statue figures, which is crazy. So yeah, I had to get in on that. The Raptors are out as well. Mine, I didn't get in on the ones that were shipping this year, but I do still have those pre-orders through Big Bad Toy Store, so I'm waiting for those in the early part of next year. However, this year I did get my hands on the Carnotaurus, and it's beautiful. I love it. It's actually doing a few things better than the Hammond collection, which I think is kind of the top of the articulated dinosaurs we have at the moment, which aren't a lot, but still really great hip articulation. The sculpt is immaculate. The paint is fantastic. Just really, really high quality articulated dinosaur figures. The WWE Ultimate Edition 20 Asuka figure from Mattel. Not only is this my favorite look for Asuka, but it's an Ultimate Edition, and I wish there was more crossover with my wrestling figures into this kind of overall list, and I endeavored to do that, but this year there's so much good stuff. I really had to pick and choose and make some hard decisions, but this absolutely belongs on the overall list because it's Mattel kind of pushing. Not only do we get an Ultimate Edition finally of a woman wrestler, which we've had a few, but I mean they've been sparse, and not only that, but we finally get some butterfly joints, as you can see here. So definitely great advancement. Not only that, but fantastic accessories. The aesthetics are absolutely on point. Just overall, totally killer figure. The Sonic the Hedgehog, the movie 3 Sonic figure from Jakks Pacific. Jakks Pacific really stepped up with this line, or this movie's figures, because Jakks Pacific has been doing the Sonic figures for a while now, as many of you know, but they've always kind of fallen short in a few different areas, but their articulated Sonic figures what we had. So, you know, I think a lot of us were like, okay, well, you know, it's what we got. But yeah, they really stepped up to that with this particular wave in line. I'll admit, I saw the entire wave of this wave 1 for the Sonic 3 figures on shelves, and I passed them up because like, okay, well, they're cool, but you know, whatever, I'm cool with it, I'm good. And I started seeing pictures on Instagram and people showing how these pose. I was like, oh, I messed up. And then all of a sudden they were really hard to find. Luckily they did a couple more you know, releases and just kept them coming, and that's really good because I mean, this is fantastic work. I usually don't even like hand art, like finger articulation on figures, but they made it work here, and just, yeah, everything about this figure is absolutely fabulous. The Savage Crucible Nin Villamere figure from Harbinger Studios. This line, oh, there's so much good stuff going on. The articulation is incredibly fun. Great accessories, a whole ton of lore if that's your thing going on in the background. Just, yeah, I love that they led with reptilians, but not only that, we are definitely getting humans, we're getting fish people, we're getting Cthulhians. Yeah, just some really, really good stuff coming from this line. And this was definitely a standout to me. The whole kind of Froud styled T-Rex sort of approach to the head sculpt, the you know, the spiky armor, just the purple tint to the armor, just really, really good stuff. And it was a hard call because there's a lot of good stuff going on here. And yes, there have been issues with the feet. I actually got to briefly speak with Rob Post at Secret Galaxy Expo this past summer, and you know, apparently that was a problem with the factory with the feet, and there's a little bit of bubbling at the bottom, and that's kind of why they don't stay standing. But for me, I just kind of froze up those toe joints right there with a little bit of you know, joint fix, and it worked, and they stand beautifully. So but not only that, we are getting a foot fix going on. Yeah, so that's kind of awesome. So yeah, again, just really, really good stuff. Cannot wait to see what comes from this company going on, and this figure alone just really makes me happy. The Batman Nightfall Bane figure from Medicom Moths, and yeah, this is the one figure on my list that I assume is on most top of the year lists this year. I mean, and well earned, because this is an absolutely stellar figure, especially from Moths. I mean, they do incredible work anyway. They're one of my favorite companies, but this figure in particular, they just nailed everything. The proportions, the accessories are, you know, not overly abundant. They're pretty much exactly what they need to be. This is just one of those figures you can't stop posing. It's just so fun. All the joints are dialed in, just beautiful from top to bottom, just everything it should be and more. So yeah. The Jurassic World Hammond Collection Giganticsaurus figure from Mattel, and yeah, Hammond Collection just continues to kill it. Just great releases. They kind of have a lot of space between waves occasionally, and you know, I get kind of worried, but you know, again, then they come out with this stuff and it's all beautiful. And this, I think, was the prime example this year. There were pretty much I liked everything they released this year, but this one in particular is big, imposing. It fixes the feet issue that Rexy had, and sculpt and paint are absolutely on point. It's just a gorgeous, gorgeous figure, fun to pose, and just absolute presence on the shelf. The Warhammer 40k Tyranid Warrior from Hiya Toys, and y'all know my love for the Tyranids, especially like the McFarlane Tyranids are amongst my favorite figures of all time. I have a ton of them, and this improves on that. I mean, it's a different company. Hiya is definitely kind of specialized in 1/18th, but seeing them do larger 1/18th scale figures, like the bigger the monsters, just really drives home how good they are at implementing all these features, like the articulation, the paint, the sculpt, just everything is gorgeous. It works beautifully together. They have some great ideas in terms of just the engineering of the figure, and yeah, I absolutely adore this, and I love that we're getting a different version, I think, with the bread being slightly darker, and I think that might be it. Still pre-ordered it. But yeah, not only that, but we get all the different kind of classes of Tyranids that we're not getting from McFarlane. So yeah, this is an absolute joy to have, a absolute joy to pose, and cannot recommend this one enough. The Bio Booster Armor 1 Gerver figure from Figma, and this is just a gorgeous figure that is so fun to pose and something I've been waiting for a long time for. Like, I got into collecting slightly after all of the original Figma Gervers came out, and I remember just like kind of looking at them and being like, whoa. And that price point being way too high for me at the time. And, you know, as I've kind of settled into kind of like what I'm willing to pay for certain things and stuff like that, I was just so happy to see this come up, because it's more expensive, but it's worth every penny. Just like, I think D Amazing had said that, like, it's a Figma figure that does not feel like a Figma figure, and that is very much true. Like, all the articulation is super dialed in, ton of accessories, which Figma does do, but it's super balanced and just everything you kind of want out of a figure like this. And it's just, it is the Gerver figure to have, I believe. The Black Ghost figure from Keep Going Studio, and I believe that effortlessly cool is the descriptor I used for this figure in my review, and I definitely, you know, maintain that. This is just, it looks amazing. It just falls into cool poses. You just move with it. It's so fluid. I don't know, there's a zen feeling to this figure that is unreal, and yeah, I cannot recommend enough. It needs to be talked about more. It definitely like gained a lot of traction when it came out, and I saw a lot of people talking about it, and then it just kind of fell off. I didn't kind of see too many mentions of it, so I don't know if this kind of fell in public eye, or maybe I just kind of stopped paying attention. But you know, I would hope to see this on a lot of top lists of the year, but for me, this is absolutely, you know, in the upper echelon of what's come out this year, just overall. The Pumpkinhead figure from Syndicate Collectibles, and this is a late entry. I got this figure literally like a week or two ago, and I've been waiting for it all year. As soon as they announced this, actually they announced this at SDCC last year, maybe it was this year. In any event, they announced it at an SDCC. It went up for pre-order. I was super excited about it, and it delivers completely. Again, there's some hindrance in some of the articulation, but that is definitely not enough to knock it down 8 pegs for me. Again, like, I've been waiting for this for so long. Aesthetically, I think it's perfect, and yeah, that lack of range can certainly be worked with, and it's a minor issue. I mean, just, it's everything a Pumpkinhead figure should be, and especially after, you know, a few years ago, kind of seeing on Twitter that NECA had responded to a response. I kind of wish I had like taken a screenshot and recorded that, but they basically said that they had no interest in doing a Pumpkinhead figure, and I was like, oh, who's going to do that? And then Syndicate shows this and delivers on it. Just absolute chef's kiss. Love it, and just absolutely deserves its spot on this list. And in the top spot, we have the Mortal Kombat 9 Shao Kahn figure from Storm Collectibles. Never did I think we were going to get a figure this accurate of this version of Shao Kahn. I know we did get at least one other version, which I don't have yet, and it is on my list to pick up at some point. I think Jazzwares did it. But yeah, this is exactly what I was waiting for. Super fun to pose. Pretty much perfect in terms of aesthetics. Tons of accessories, especially if you get the deluxe one with the throne, which I did. My review for that is up, of course. And yeah, just this hits every note. This is the epitome for me of toy dreams coming true. Just everything I wanted out of a Shao Kahn figure, because this is my favorite version, and just brought to life. Brought to plastic rather. And yeah, just everything it should be. I could not be happier with this, and this is a centerpiece in my collection, my display, and I'll probably not leave that position, because this is just everything I wanted. Storm Collectibles completely nailed it. Absolutely love it. Just, yeah, cannot recommend it enough. Just one of the perfect figures to come out this year. And one last time, here all together are my top 13 figures of the year 2024. So there we have it. There's another year closed. There's my top 13 of 2024. So let me know, is there any crossover with your favorite figures of the year? Did you discover any new figures from my list? Are you interested in checking out what I had to say about some of those figures? Because again, they are all, every figure in this list has been reviewed at some point this year. So yeah, really just there's so much good stuff. I can easily say that this year, this was the hardest list to put together. There was a lot of movement up until the last second, like literally as I'm putting this together. And I will admit, I did not say numbers in the actual entries because they might switch around when I'm editing. Who knows? But so much good stuff. And yeah, we are eating well in the current vernacular, as it were. So yeah, so much good stuff. Let me know what your top 10, 13, whatever are. What are your favorite figures this year? We've, again, gotten so much good stuff, especially there's just been a deluge here at the end of the year. I'm calling the cutoff here. I'm recording this on the solstice on the 21st. So yeah, as far as I'm concerned, anything from here on out is eligible for next year. So we'll see how that plays out. But yeah, so much good stuff. There's even more stuff to come. So with that being said, I just hope that you've had fantastic holidays. I thank you so much for joining me here every week for all these reviews and kind of taking any interest in this, because it's just a cool connection point. So yeah, great stuff. And I hope that you have an absolutely fantastic and safe new year. So with that being said, as always, I hope you're well. I hope that all of your toy dreams come true. And most importantly, I hope that you and yours stay weird, simians.